Tools excavated from a cave in central Mexico are strong evidence that humans were living in North America at least 30,000 years ago, some 15,000 years earlier than previously thought.
Here's a summary of the article.
Tools excavated from a cave in central Mexico are strong evidence that humans were living in North America at least 30,000 years ago, some 15,000 years earlier than previously thought, scientists said Wednesday. Our results provide new evidence for the antiquity of humans in the Americas, Ciprian Artelin, an archaeologist at the Universidad Autónoma de Zacatecas and lead author of one of the studies, told AFP. There are only a few artifacts and a couple of dates from that range, he said, referring radiocarbon dating results putting the oldest samples at 33,000 to 31,000 years ago. Until recently, the widely accepted storyline was that the first humans to set foot in the Americas crossed a land bridge from present-day Russia to Alaska some 5,000 years ago and moved south through a corridor between two massive ice sheets. The so-called Clovis first model has fallen apart over the last 2 decades with the discovery of several ancient human settlements dating back 2,000 or 3,000 years before earlier. Using a statistical model, they showed widespread human presence before, during and immediately after the last glacial maximum, which lasted from 27,000 to 19,000 years ago. Human populations scattered across the continent during an earlier period also coincide with the disappearance of once abundant megafauna, including mammoths and extinct species of camels and horses. Our analysis suggests that the widespread expansion of humans through North America was a key factor in the extinction of large terrestrial mammals, the second study concluded.
This post received a score of 10,000, with an upvote ratio of 98%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
So how they did arrive. Mayans claim by sea.
Ancient mariners are such an interesting topic. The bravery and ingenuity to take to the seas with the primitive technology of the time is fascinating to think about.
Humans could have made it from north to south hopping and skipping short distances. There's food year-round along coasts. Either along the land or in small boats.
We were voyagers. See the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know how far I'll go.
I think they sang Christopher Cross, but this is lost to the sands of time.
You're welcome.
So would these people be the same people we currently consider indigenous people? Or did the newly discovered people die off and then the indigenous people came over to North America afterwards?
The latter, from my understanding.
Greater than the latter, from my understanding. Where did you get your information from? Also, where did the indigenous people come from?
Greater than 13, 5,000 years ago. My head hurts.
13,000 5,000 years ago. Does that help?
Yeah, that was the release I needed. Thanks.
I find it interesting that for 28,000 years things stayed relatively the same, and then the past 2,000 years civilization suddenly took off.
There was this black monolith, you see.
I wonder what's in it.
Stars, or maybe candy. Amazing. I've always felt that the chasm of time between 1 million and 10,000 years ago would be filled with very rich human history and culture. Sadly, we may never know even half of the story, but thank God there is good evidence to enlighten all the traditionalist Clovis first academics. There are so many examples that the Clovis culture was not the first American human culture.
I'm especially curious about our story of the ancient Near East. The traditional narrative is agriculture to permanent villages to permanent cities, but then you have places like Göbekli Tepe and Tel Karamal which seem to predate, at least in their early stages, agriculture. Göbekli Tepe involved fairly advanced masonry techniques. I would not be shocked if we had multiple semi-permanent settlements with stonework before agriculture that were either used as trading bazaars or religious worship or what have you.
Grains like wheat and rice predate agriculture and were still easily harvested by migrating humans and also quite storable still. I mean, just look at wild rice and its history.
When we learn about ancient human history, it is taught as though each advancement, agriculture, the wheel, etc., brought all of humanity to a new age, yet, in reality what probably happened was so many human settlements were so far away, some of these inventions never made it there, or arrived much later. So, before agriculture, is not really that specific either, as it seems that we figured out agriculture independently in multiple places, although that is in dispute I believe, since we just don't know.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.